Welcome to the Etihad Cargo Connections with 10 Furlong Magazine. I'm your host today, Aurelian Drumia. Today we welcome Anna Seitz. Seitz, right?
Yes, sir.
Seitz. Director of Client Relations at Fasig Tipton, the oldest thoroughbred auction company in North America. Anna played a pivotal role in the launch of Fasig Tipton digital sales platform. And with clients worldwide, she brings a unique perspective on regional preferences and is set to embark on a visit to the Middle East in February, very soon. We will reflect on success stories in supplying horses to the Middle East, share insights into Fasig Tipton's expansion strategy, and hint at exciting plans for the future. Join us today as we delve into Anna's journey and the dynamic world of thoroughbred auctions. So Anna, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, and thank you very much for having me on.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
So how are things at Fasig Tipton? Can you tell us a bit more about it?
Absolutely. We are full into 2024, and things are going very well. We had a great year last year, and it used to be December and January were a little bit, slow times here at Fasig Tipton, but with the launch of the digital sales and, like you mentioned, my trip to the Middle East next month, and we have our February sale, which we've added a large dispersal and we've added a digital racing age. We haven't slowed down at all. So it's been busy all the way through the year and right into the new year. So we have a lot to look forward to, a lot going on, and it's pretty exciting. We're embarking on hopefully another big year here for 2024.
That is very exciting indeed. So Anna, working for the oldest thoroughbred auctions company in North America, like I mentioned, must be quite special. How did you begin working with Fasig Tipton?
I was working for a Hall of Fame trainer, Todd Pletcher, before I came to Fasig Tipton. I've actually been here for 15 years, which is crazy because it's just been so fast, and it's wild. It's a fun place to work. We're always working on another sale. We're always working on new things. So time just flies by. But I was working at the racetrack, and I'm from here. My family has a breeding farm in Versailles, Kentucky, not far from, about 20 minutes away from Fasig Tipton. And I realized I wanted to live back in Kentucky, and I'd done the racetrack thing for almost 4 years, and it's a lot of moving around. A lot of working for Todd was a great experience. I was around a lot of great horses. He's an awesome trainer, great communicator, great person, and to get to be around all those owners. But I decided I wanted to live back in Kentucky. So I reached out to Fasig Tipton and asked them if they had any interest. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do because, I really wanted to move back, and I wanted to work for a company that had a great reputation and a good history and just was really ingrained in the thoroughbred industry. And so it worked out. I reached out. Dan Pride was here at the time. He's now running Godolphin, but I reached out to him and asked if I could come and talk to him and see if there was a fit for, someone who had been working at the racetrack that was dying to move back to Kentucky. And I just think I happened to reach out at the right time, and maybe I caught him at a weak moment, but they hired me, and it's been quite an experience. It's been very educational. I learn new things all the time, and I get to work with not just the people that I work with here at Fasig, but the clients that we work with. I mean, all over the world. So to me, it's fascinating, and I love that. I love getting, we still get to be around horses. I get to go to the races a lot. So it's always challenging, and I'm very, very fortunate to work here.
That's fantastic. Thank you. In late 2022, you were promoted to Director of Client Relations, right? Can you tell us a bit more about that role?
Well, we laughed about it because my title changed, but it was kind of what I was doing before. So basically, everybody here at Fasig Tipton wears a lot of different hats, but a big part of what I do is I recruit buyers for the different sales, now recruiting for the digital sales as well. So we want to make sure that when a buyer shows up at Fasig Tipton, we try to give them a good experience. We want it to be not just a business transaction, but we want it to be if we can, to have a personal relationship with a lot of our clients. So that's a big part of what I do. I oversee the hospitality, customer service. I help recruit fillies and mares for our November sale, which a lot of people call it the Night of the Stars, the sale that's the big breeding stock sale right after the Breeders' Cup, where we sell all those, big time fillies and mares, a lot of race fillies right off the track, right from the Breeders' Cup. So very involved in that. I work with the different racetracks when we do race sponsorships, and like say when we go up to Saratoga to put on a big race day, Fasig Tipton has an involvement in the racetracks. I do a lot of that. So I do a lot of different things. So it was just kind of, my boss said, we need to change your title, even though you're already kind of doing the same thing. So it was nice to be recognized as a director a couple years ago. But and now this trip to the Middle East, I've never been. This will be, I've traveled a lot to Australia for Fasig Tipton.
Okay.
I've been to France. I go to France a lot, England, Ireland, but I've never done the Middle East. So I'm very much
First
looking forward
time.
to this trip. Yes, sir.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
amazing. I
I've
would
always wanted
hear
to
your
go. It's
feedback
been something,
once you're back.
yeah, so it's something I want to do for a long time. And we have a really pretty cool trip lined up, and I think a pretty exciting itinerary. So I'm very much looking forward to it.
Excellent. Around the same time you got promoted, the auction house launched his digital sell platforms. Did you have much involvement into that?
Well, we actually hired someone specifically to
Oh,
launch it. Leaf Aaron came to Fasig Tipton, and he runs the entire digital platform. So he is the, the director of the digital sales, and he's kind of oversees it all. But I would say we all have, it was a big team effort to get it up and going, and for the success that we've seen in such a short amount of time. I think it works because we have a team that everybody digs in and helps out. So I would say my role would be helping Leaf with recruiting horses for the digital platform, helping recruiting buyers, making sure we market it. Like on this trip, when I go over the Middle East, making sure people are aware how it works, if they need help getting set up online. So yes, I would say it's a team effort.
excellent. How do you see the difference between prior to the digital sales platform versus now?
Oh, wow. I mean, it's funny because now I can't really remember before we had digital sales, because it's become such a big part of Fasig Tipton, but it really is growing, and I think it's going to continue to grow, because if you have a horse in training and you're thinking about selling, you don't have to take that racehorse out of training. You can sell that horse. You don't have to disrupt its schedule. You don't have to put the horse on a van. You can cut expenses while you don't have to ship it to another location. So there's a lot of pluses of selling digitally, and people are getting, the more they do it, the more they get comfortable with it. At first, people were nervous, but we kind of looked at other countries. We looked in Australia and we said, why is it working so well in Australia? How can we mimic why their success down there and do that here in the United States? And I think that's a big part of it, is just people getting comfortable with it and just continuing to try new things and to find out what works and what doesn't work. And I think a big part of it is to be able to keep the horse at the location where they're currently based. Also, it allows buyers, I mean, all of our sales, you can log on and bid from anywhere, but we've noticed new buyers sign up for these digital sales that they see the press release, they see things on social media, they see things in the print, and they want to sign up and buy horses on the digital platform because they're used to doing a lot of business digitally. I think they're comfortable with the digital platform. So it's been we've seen an entire new base of buyers that we didn't have before because of the digital sales.
Great. Could you tell us a little bit more about the process?
Sure. Okay. So we have a digital sale coming up in February. We have one where we're doing a racehorse dispersal for the Lothenbach racehorse dispersal, and that is going to be completely digital. So the horses are entered for this particular sale. The horses are spread out all over the place, and so what you would do if you were a person interested in selling your horse, you would reach out to us. We would send you a contract. You would enter your horse. Then you would need to get good pictures and videos, a walking video of the horse walking up and down, nice confirmation photos. And we have people that can do this for you. So we have lists. So if you're in the state of Louisiana and the horse is in training at the fairgrounds, we have photographers that are there that know how to do this. They know what format it needs to be in. They know what they need to do. Then, a couple weeks before the sale, the horse has to be, and if the horse is going to run, after the horse runs, then you would vet the horse if it's a race horse. So we have a repository just like we do with the live sale. So all the x-rays are available and a scope report. So if your veterinarian is in Dubai, if your veterinarian's in Kentucky, Florida, it doesn't matter. They can log on to their account and they can view the x-rays, and then they can tell the potential buyer if this horse is one that they should pursue and try to buy or not. So it's a very simple process. We have a really good website. The technology has made this possible, but because you can watch the race replays, you can get all the information on the horse right there on your computer. People seem to really like it. So that's the basic process, and then when it comes time, you have to, as a buyer, once the horse is entered in the sale, if you're interested in buying, you sign up, register to bid. set up credit with us. We would approve you if you're, you know, especially people who have bought with us before, but new buyers need to set up credit. We need to get your contact information. And then it's just like eBay or anything, you just bid away. And it is, I'm telling you, I've been to thoroughbred auctions live my whole life, and those are fun. But bidding on these digital auctions, I don't know what it is. It's a lot of fun. Like I remember the last sale in December, we were bidding on a horse, and it was a horse. We all just really got into it, and like in the office, everybody will be yelling. It's fun, it's interactive, it's easy to do. So it's pretty unique. It's a pretty cool setting.
Sounds like a great place to work.
It is. It really is. Very, very lucky.
So Anna, you work with clients all over the world. Have you noticed any major differences in, you know, how things are done in the Middle East or maybe versus North America?
Oh, that's a great question. Being that I have not been to the Middle East, I've researched a lot about it, but I've noticed what it looks like is the Middle East seems to, they want racehorses and they want to race them. It's not all about the commercial market. Whereas here in the States, a lot of people breed to sell. That's their end game. They want to, you know, sell these horses commercially. Whereas in the Middle East, I would say they're a little bit more racing purists, which is pretty cool. You know, they want that product. They want to race. They want to run in those big races. They want to run in those prep races leading up to those big races. So they're not looking to sell those horses. You know, I know there is a sale in Saudi Arabia, but outside of that, it seems to me more like they just want to run. And I think that's really cool. That's how it used to be here. Everybody was end users. Everybody was buying to race. And it seems like over in the Middle East, they can't get enough horses. They can't get enough over. It's like they really, really have that desire for action to race. And I would say that is pretty cool. And that's one of the big differences that I've noticed. And that's kind of why, you know, we're having more of a presence in the Middle East, because we see the need. We see how much interest is there.
Great. In terms of buyers specifically, are there any differences in what maybe each region is looking for in a thoroughbred?
Oh, absolutely. I would say in the Middle East, the buyers are looking for those durable American dirt horses. They seem to really want dirt horses to bring over and run in those racing festivals. That's part of why I also think Fasig Tipton has a 2-year-old sale every year in Maryland. We actually have 2 of them, and we see a lot of Middle Eastern buyers interested in that sale because it's the only breeze up sale in the United States that's on dirt. So they can see the horses train over dirt, buy them, and then bring them over to the Middle East and race them over dirt. So I would say it seems to be what they want. And I've also noticed it's so cool. Horses that running in the Middle East, they show up every year. They get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds that are running in these big races. So they seem to they have no problem buying older dirt horses. And I think what they do is they give them long breaks. They run them during their carnivals, and then they give them a lot of time off, and they're able to run them back. So I think that seems to be, and these horses, some of them, like Switzerland, they just seem to get better as they get older. And it sounds like where they're training them in the training centers. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, seeing the differences in how they train them in the 2 different locations, because it sounds like these horses are able to stay sound and run well into their later years.
That sounds very interesting indeed. Yeah, for sure. So we mentioned you're due to visit the Middle East in February. Are you able to tell us anything about what that trip entails?
Absolutely, sure. I'm starting in Saudi Arabia, and I'm going to the Saudi Cup. Basically, it's a mission to, we want to promote Fasig Tipton. We want to make sure people understand, you know, you think when you work for a sales company, oh yes, everybody knows what Fasig Tipton is, the difference of us versus other sales companies. Of course they know when our sales are or what type of sales, but it's not the case. A lot of people that buy horses also are running major companies or have a lot going on, and they don't have time to learn about all the different sales companies and where they are and when they are. So it's up to us to make sure. And I learned that when I went to France and when I went to Australia. People were like, I didn't know about Fasig Tipton. I was like, what? How do you not know? So it was kind of eye-opening for me. I'm like, we've been around for so long and we have all these big sales. But I would say that's a big part of our trip, is to just make sure people are aware of who we are, when our sales are, really focus on how can we get you the information you need to be able to buy horses digitally, or if you'd like to attend a sale, but which sales, you know, not every sale. We don't feel like we need to market every sale to buyers in the Middle East. There's specific sales that, you know, we have racing age sales. So we have a big racing age sale in July where the horses it's an in-person sale. The horses are on the grounds. And so that's a sale that is of interest. You know, we have our select yearling sales, but also these digital sales, promoting that. But like I said, the big reason part of our trip is going and getting in front of people before the 2-year-old sales at Timonium. And also personally, I would like to go to learn more about you know, how they do things so that I can come back here and understand better how we can, you know, service those markets better. So I'm starting in Saudi Arabia. We're going to be there for 2 or 3 days. Very much looking forward to the Saudi Cup both days. Then we're actually flying to Bahrain, which looks amazing. Have some meetings set up there. Then we'll go from Bahrain. We're going to go to Dubai and make that our home base for a few days. And then while we're in Dubai, hoping to make a trip to Abu Dhabi for the races for a day. And then be at the Super Saturday in Dubai and going around to a lot of trainers and owners come over from Dubai for our sale. So there's a lot of people that I've met that I'm looking forward to catching up with on their home turf. So that trip, that should be pretty cool. We'd be very busy. Sounds like we're going to be going to a lot of racetracks, a lot of training centers, hopefully have some nice meals. I'm just being very open-minded about everything, just extremely excited. And then we fly back to Kentucky after the Super Saturday races. So it'll be a jam-packed about 10 days.
Quite a full-on schedule indeed. That's true. Wow.
So, and we wanted to do Qatar, but my boss said, Boyd said, you know what, you're trying to probably do too much for your first trip. So that might be when we go back. So yeah, we'll see if it works out. That's the cool thing. It sounds like once you're there, everything's pretty close. It's just a matter of, you know, not trying to overdo it and making sure I would like to spend time with these people. I don't want to rush in and make them feel like I don't have time for them, because I want to hear what they have to say and see what they do.
For sure. And getting to know a little bit of the culture as well. I think
exactly.
Definitely. Great. There have been many success stories when it comes to Fasig Tipton, supplying horses to the Middle East. Are there any that stands out for you?
Scotland Yard was bought out of our Horses of Racing Age sale and is doing very well in Saudi Arabia right now. So he's one that I love watching him run. But I have to say one of my favorite success stories is Switzerland, because I think I don't know if he's still running this year, but I think he was 10 years old last year and he won a stake. And I'm like, that is just so cool to see a horse that we had sold at Timonium all those years ago continuing to run. Power and numbers, Mendelssohn Bay, more current horses. There was a filly last year, Mimi Kukishi, that was purchased out of a Fasig Tipton sale and brought to Dubai, and then won a grade 3 and then came back and ran in the Kentucky Oaks. And now she has resurfaced back in Dubai. So it seems to be there are just more popping up all the time of good dirt horses that come from here that are going over and being successful in the Middle East. So I think like I said, having that Horses of Racing Age sale has really helped. So I think we'll see even more of a presence, not only at the Lothenbach dispersal, where we have a lot of racehorses here in a couple of weeks, but also in our July Horses of Racing Age sale. I think we'll see a big uptick of interest from the Middle East.
Great. Let's go back to your operations in North America. It would appear you're constantly expanding and evolving, as you mentioned. It's changing a lot. Where does that drive and vision come from when you're already so successful at what you do?
Oh, wow. Thank you. I think a big part of it is we have our Boyd Browning, our president, is always looking forward. He's always he's open to new ideas. He's very progressive. He's a good person to work for, because he's always like, how can we be better? What can we do to continue to drive us forward? And I don't know if you read how there's a new initiative, Light Up Racing, that was started here in the United States to kind of try and make racing better. And Boyd jumped right in and made a big financial investment, because he said, we want to help save this game. We want to get new owners into this game. We want to get new fans. We want to change the narrative. If there's a negative narrative of racing, which we keep seeing in the media, we want to change it. So we highlight the positive. And I think that's a big part of why we're successful, because he's always looking at new things. You know, at first, the idea of the digital platform was daunting, and we had never done it before. And we're like, how is this going to work? Everybody wants this. Horses have to be on the grounds, but we decided to give it a go. And, you know, here it is. It's been a huge success, and just continuing to grow. I think part of too, like watching other organizations grow and expand, like looking what's going on in Saudi Arabia with the Saudi Cup, with the biggest purse in the world, and how they have the racetrack. From what I can see, the racetrack in Maidan is like top notch, and how everything is just done so well. That I think that also drives us, because we want to be in that echelon where we just do things the best and we try new things. And looking at other countries that are constantly doing things, you know, why shouldn't we? You know, Magic Million seems to be the Thoroughbred auction house in Australia. They're always growing and trying new things and working with the city and making racing fun. And I think that's a big part of what Fasig Tipton tries to be, progressive. And you got to just keep moving forward, right?
Sure, sure. I like how you keep mentioning how it's a team effort.
Oh, big
So
time.
I'm going to change a little bit my next questions.
Sure.
So what makes you and the team so successful at what you do? How do you stand out in such a crowded market?
Um, I think Fasig Tipton stands out, and I personally really try hard to do this, is our customer service. We try not to just be, like I said earlier, it's not just a business transaction, but it's personal. So when someone reaches out to Fasig Tipton, we try hard to make sure they have a nice experience so that they feel that we care about our customers. So I think that's a big part of it's challenging. There's a lot of people with a lot of different personalities. And even here internally, like I say, yes, it's a team. And when you spend so much time with these people and we travel together, there are times when we are butting heads because one person says, this is the way we have to do it. And then I'm super opinionated and my way, I'm like, no, this is the way we have to do it. So it's all about like, yes, we're going to butt heads and we're going to fight and we're going to bicker. But I think we bicker because all of us here at Fasig Tipton truly care about the mission of our company to be the best that we can possibly be. And if we didn't care, we wouldn't be butting heads and we wouldn't be bickering. And I think I really do truly believe if you ask a lot of our customers why they like working with Fasig Tipton, I would hope that they say, and a lot of them tell us personally that they enjoy our friendship and they know that we're going to work as hard as we possibly can to give them a good experience and to maximize if they're buying or selling with us to make sure that we're doing the best we can for them.
What are the plans for Fasig Tipton this year?
Well, we've
You
had
mentioned a
last
few
year,
sales.
I mean, that was a good question. That's a very good question. Last year, our sales were, I think it was a record year.
Wow.
And, you know, the last 2 or 3 years have been very strong. And I would say we just want to keep beating that because you got to just keep striving to move forward. I don't think we have anything huge new like the digital platform. We're trying to as it expands, there's growing pains. So as we grow, you have to fix and continue to evolve the things that, you know, people maybe say, well, I had an issue with this on your website. So it's always trying to make that better. And I would say that's a big part of it is growing that. And like this year, the Belmont Stakes it's not able to be held at Belmont Park. It's up in Saratoga. So we have a big horse sale in August in Saratoga. So we already have a facility. So we've decided, hey, while everybody's up in Saratoga in June, why don't we do something around the Belmont Stakes in Saratoga? So we're working on what can we do to have a presence there. And we do a lot with the racetracks leading up to the Kentucky Derby. So we sponsor races and have parties. So that's the kind of things that we're going to continue to grow, is not just be focused on when we're here having a horse sale, but outside of leading up to horse sales, what can we do? So we're always, you know, fixing things in the pavilion and fixing things in the building so that, you know, fixing our Wi-Fi. So I would say that's kind of what we're doing this year, is little things that you might not notice that we just want to make sure when you're here, things run as seamlessly and smoothly as possible.
Great. What about farther down the road? Like, what does the future hold?
I would say I think like from seeing people's comfort level with the digital sale, I would say that digital is going to be bigger than we had planned. I'm hoping our November sale will continue to grow. Our Saratoga sale last year, we sold a yearling for $4 million. It was out of Beholder, and that was the most expensive yearling in North America last year. So continue to grow Saratoga, continue to grow the select yearling markets. I would just say hopefully continue upward growth. And but I really think like as an industry, the future, we really need to come together. We need to partner together. There's a lot of different organizations in America that are trying to save racing, but we're not on the same page. So we need to work together better. You know, we have HISA, we have all these different aftercare when we do a lot to take care of our horses after they're retired. But again, I think if we kind of have more of a unified message and a unified goal, I think that's our number one goal. If we want to continue to sell horses at Fasig Tipton, we need to make sure there are horses to sell. We need to make sure we are fixing the issues that we currently have.
Great. Do you see any future involvement in regards to AI? It's a bit specific question, but
that would
that
not be
seems to be the next
my
step after digital, you know, this is
I would say
AI.
I've just read a lot about it, but it's not something I know a ton about. But I would say absolutely. It seems to be everything you read, every article, you know, now you have an AI pen for your iPad. Everything is AI driven. So I would say probably, and the team here that really runs the digital platform, they are very tuned into the up to speed, the best technology. So if there's something that's available, I'm sure they're already 10 steps ahead and thinking about it. So
That's very
you're on
important.
the ball. I have to say they are always looking at what's the best.
Great. Finally, on to the last question. For our race fans out there, are there any thoroughbreds you are particularly excited about this season?
Well, that's a very good question too. Last year, the horse that won the Kentucky Derby, Mage, was co-owned by one of my coworkers, Ramiro Restrepo. He actually comes to the Middle East, and he's a bit of a celebrity now, but he won the Kentucky Derby with the horse he bought at Fasig Tipton. So that was really cool. He's, like I said earlier, we spend so much time with our coworkers, they become like family. So when Ramiro won the Kentucky Derby, it was really, really awesome for all of us. And so this year, we have another coworker at Fasig Tipton that co-owned and co-bred with his father a horse called Liberal Arts, who is now on the Kentucky Derby trail. So I would say I just enjoy, we have a lot of Fasig Tipton graduates I'm excited about, but personally, working with these guys who have horses on the Derby trail and kind of riding their coattails is pretty exciting. So we're all rooting for Evan Ferraro and his colt Liberal Arts as he hopefully continues on the trail to the Kentucky Derby.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun. I hope I answered all your questions and didn't make it more complicated. And just to reiterate, all of our sales, whether digital or live sales, they're always on our website. Always, you can always follow along, and you don't have to be a registered bidder to watch. And you can always attend our live sales in person as well. So, and I just encourage anybody who has any questions about setting up credit for any of these sales to reach out, because we are here and I can help them and get them. It can be a little intimidating at first, but once you do it once, I promise it's pretty easy.
That's great. Thank you so much for the interview. That was fantastic.
Thank you very much. That was fun.
Have a nice rest of your day, Anna.
Okay, you too.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.